When it comes to marriage, most people chase signs, wait for timing, and hope destiny will choose them. But destiny doesn't choose you. You choose destiny. And the moment you rewrite your inner story, the outer world has no choice but to match it. Marriage does not begin at the altar. It begins in the mind. Every love story, every union, every commitment that lasts a lifetime is first created in the unseen world of thought, feeling, and assumption. If you want to get married this year, the first shift you must make is understanding that your relationship is born long before it becomes visible. Your outer life is a mirror, reflecting the image you hold of yourself within. So if you want a marriage that feels real, sacred, chosen, and aligned, you must first reprogram the beliefs that shape your expectations. You must become the version of yourself who is already chosen, already loved, already partnered, already guided toward a beautiful union that feels destined. You must understand that your mind is not a passive observer. It is the architect. What you rehearse internally becomes your lived reality externally. When you quietly believe that love is difficult, that commitment is rare, that marriage is delayed, or that you are not fully ready, the world will reflect that belief. But the moment you shift your inner conversation, your relationship with love, your identity as a committed partner, you begin to draw marriage toward you with magnetic force. The power is not in waiting for someone to choose you. The power is in choosing the state of mind that makes marriage inevitable. To reprogram your mind, you must stop worrying about who, when, and how. You must detach from timelines that fill you with anxiety and instead step into the energy of faith, certainty, and emotional readiness. You must begin treating your future marriage as something alive inside you, something you carry with confidence, something that is already unfolding, something that cannot fail. The shift is subtle but profound. You stop hoping and start knowing. You stop wishing and start embodying. You stop doubting and start living as someone who is on her way to a sacred union that aligns perfectly with her heart. When your mind shifts, your behavior shifts. When your behavior shifts, your energy shifts. And when your energy shifts, the right person, the right timing, and the right circumstances begin to align around you effortlessly. This is not magic. It is alignment. When you become the version of yourself who is emotionally ready for marriage, the universe organizes everything else on your behalf. To step into this energy, begin by rewriting the inner story you tell about yourself in love. If your self-talk is filled with old wounds, past disappointments, and doubts about your worth, marriage will always feel far away. But when you tell yourself a different story, when you affirm that you are worthy of commitment, that you are chosen, that you are secure, that your future spouse is drawn to you with clarity and confidence, you begin reconditioning the subconscious patterns that shape your reality. The subconscious does not argue. It accepts, and when you feed it a new identity, it recreates your world to match that identity. Tell yourself daily that you are someone whose presence inspires devotion. Tell yourself you are a blessing to your future spouse. Tell yourself that marriage comes to you naturally, easily, beautifully. These statements are not delusions. They are seeds. And the moment they take root, they begin transforming the way you see yourself and the way others see you. You start walking with a softness that feels safe, a confidence that feels magnetic, a calmness that feels trustworthy. You stop chasing and start attracting. But mental reprogramming is not just about affirmations. It is about emotional alignment. If your words say, "I believe in marriage," but your emotions scream, "I fear abandonment, betrayal, disappointment," your energy will stay conflicted. The goal is not to force yourself to feel perfect. The goal is to replace fear with certainty, step by step. When you notice fear rising, you remind yourself, "This fear is not my truth. My truth is love. My truth is connection. My truth is a beautiful marriage that is meant for me." Over time, the emotional storm settles, and confidence begins to grow. One of the most powerful techniques to reprogram your mind is to embody the feeling of already being married. Not imagining the wedding day, but imagining the life after, the tiny moments, the quiet mornings, the shared laughter, the comfort of companionship, the security of being loved deeply and consistently. When you feel these things in your imagination, Your subconscious begins accepting them as your identity. You start acting like someone who is already emotionally taken, already grounded, already chosen. And this energy creates an undeniable pull toward the kind of partner who resonates with lifelong commitment. Another key shift is releasing the old versions of yourself that no longer serve your future. The version of you who tolerated half-effort, emotional uncertainty, or inconsistent love cannot lead you to marriage. The version of you who doubted her worth cannot lead you to a sacred union. The version of you who accepted breadcrumbs cannot build a life where she is cherished fully. You must let these versions fall away and step into the woman who knows what she deserves, who knows what she offers, who knows what her heart is capable of giving and receiving. When you reprogram your mind, you start aligning your decisions with your future marriage. You stop entertaining connections that drain you. You stop giving energy to people who keep you confused. You stop settling for relationships that lack clarity. Your standards rise, not from fear, but from inner knowing. You become intentional, selective, peaceful. You no longer chase romance. You prepare for partnership. You no longer fear love. You understand it. You no longer ask, when will it happen? You affirm it is already unfolding. And something remarkable happens when you enter this state. The right person notices you differently. People sense the confidence, the emotional maturity, the inner stability. You begin attracting individuals who are serious, grounded, ready for commitment, because your energy mirrors those qualities. The kind of partner who wants marriage is not drawn to chaos or uncertainty. They are drawn to peace, clarity, and depth. When you reprogram your mind, you become the embodiment of those qualities. Reprogramming your mind also requires gratitude. Gratitude not only for the love you will receive, but for the love you are already capable of giving. Gratitude transforms your energy. It softens you, it opens you, it turns waiting into preparation and longing into certainty. Every day, thank the universe for your future marriage as if it is already real. Thank your future spouse for choosing you. Thank yourself for the growth you have done. Gratitude turns the invisible into the inevitable. Finally, remember this truth. Marriage is not something you chase. It is something you become aligned with. When your mind, emotions, beliefs, and self-image match the energy of marriage, your life will begin arranging itself in ways you could never predict. The right person will step in. The right timing will appear. The right conversations will unfold. Your inner world creates your outer world. Always, if you want to get married this year, reprogram your mind to believe it. Expect it, feel it, and live as if it is already yours. Walk through your days, knowing that love is on its way, that commitment is approaching, that your future spouse is moving closer to you with every passing moment. Hold this truth in your mind, carry it in your heart, and embody it in your actions. Because when you reprogram your mind, you don't just wait for marriage. You attract it, you welcome it, and you step into it with the certainty of someone who knows that love is already written for them. Your marriage becomes possible the moment you reshape the inner image you carry about yourself, because everything you experience in love is a reflection of that inward picture. When you begin to see yourself as someone worthy of devotion, the world slowly begins to treat you that way. Your mind is the soil in which every relationship grows. And when you plant seeds of confidence, certainty, and emotional security, they bloom into real experiences. You no longer fear delays, because you know alignment is more powerful than time. You start trusting that love is not a struggle, but a natural extension of who you are. Old doubts lose their power, and new beliefs rise to guide your steps. You begin replacing the old story with one that empowers you. You no longer repeat patterns that kept you stuck. You become intentional in how you think and speak about love. You feel a new calm settling inside you. You recognize that transformation within always becomes transformation outside. And you finally understand that marriage starts in the mind long before it appears in reality. You attract commitment when you start behaving like someone who is already chosen, because your energy becomes rooted, stable, and confident. When you stop acting from desperation or fear of loss, You begin making decisions from a place of worthiness. People sense when you know who you are and what you deserve. You walk differently, speak differently, and respond differently. You no longer compromise your peace for temporary affection. You develop an aura of certainty that pulls the right person toward you naturally. This inner shift makes you less reactive and more grounded. You start trusting the process instead of forcing it. You begin giving love without insecurity, because you feel secure within. Your energy becomes consistent and calm, and that consistency invites serious commitment. You become the kind of person someone wants to build a life with. And this quiet inner confidence becomes the magnet that attracts your future spouse toward you effortlessly. Your subconscious creates your love life, because it accepts whatever image you feed it, and it works tirelessly to prove that image true. When you feed it a story of being unworthy or unlucky, it recreates experiences that match that belief. But when you plant the identity of someone destined for a beautiful union, your subconscious begins rearranging your thoughts, behaviors, and expectations. You start noticing opportunities you used to ignore. You become more confident in conversations. You begin releasing fears that once ruled you. Your energy shifts from uncertainty to inner knowing. Your mind becomes a safe place instead of a battlefield. You start embracing the identity of someone who is lovable, capable, and deserving. This new identity strengthens you from within and guides you toward people who reflect your growth. The universe responds to your inner truth, and your outer relationships begin to align with the love story you now believe in. Marriage aligns with you easily when you stop stressing over timelines and start living with the calm of someone who trusts divine timing. You no longer panic about how long it will take, because you understand that what is meant for you cannot pass you by. You begin walking with peace instead of pressure. You stop comparing your journey to others. You understand that your chapter is unfolding in its own rhythm. You become present, grounded, and emotionally prepared. This calm energy allows love to approach without resistance. You begin to make clearer choices, because you're no longer driven by impatience. You no longer cling to relationships that don't serve you. You trust that alignment is more powerful than speed. You let your heart relax into the process. You carry the quiet certainty that your marriage is coming, and this inner peace becomes the most magnetic force in your love journey. Emotional alignment creates the strongest signal to the universe, because when you feel married within, your energy broadcasts certainty instead of longing. You begin holding the emotions of being loved, supported, and cherished, even before these experiences appear in your physical life. These feelings shift your body language and soften your presence. You start expecting good things instead of fearing disappointment. You begin seeing yourself as someone who belongs in a committed relationship. Your heart starts trusting again. Your energy becomes steady, warm, and inviting. You embody the emotional frequency of a secure relationship. You become more selective, more peaceful, and more intentional. The universe responds to the emotion you carry, not the words you speak. And when your emotions match the reality you desire, that reality cannot stay away from you for long. Letting go of old versions of yourself is essential, because the person you were during your painful chapters cannot lead you into your blessed ones. You must release the version of you that accepted less than you deserved. You must detach from the identity shaped by heartbreak, disappointment, and confusion. These outdated versions kept you small, doubtful, and insecure. As you shed them, you create space for a new identity anchored in self-respect and clarity. You begin seeing your past not as a prison, but as preparation. You start recognizing your worth in every interaction. You stop tolerating emotional breadcrumbs. You start demanding honesty, consistency, and depth. This upgraded version of you aligns naturally with a partner who is equally healed and committed. And as you step into this renewed identity, your future marriage becomes closer and clearer. Your standards rise naturally when you begin believing that you deserve clarity, consistency, and genuine commitment, because your sense of self-worth becomes stronger than your longing for companionship. You stop chasing people who confuse you. You stop accepting situations that drain you. You no longer negotiate with your peace. Your energy shifts from "I hope someone sees my value" to "I know my value." This shift reshapes every decision you make. You start choosing people who reflect your worth. You stop forcing connections that are not aligned. You communicate your needs with confidence. You trust that the right person will meet your standards without resistance. You no longer fear being alone because your self-respect comforts you. And as your standards rise, the quality of people you attract rises with them, leading you toward the partner who genuinely matches your heart. Gratitude for your future marriage draws it closer, because gratitude transforms your energy from longing to receiving. When you thank life for the love that is coming, you create emotional room for it. Gratitude lifts your vibration and removes the heaviness of doubt. It teaches your heart to expect blessings, not delays. You start feeling supported even in moments of uncertainty. You begin appreciating your growth, your healing, and your readiness. You recognize how far you've come. You start trusting the invisible process working in your favor. You thank your future spouse in advance, knowing that love is already on its way. This gratitude makes your heart softer, more open, and more aligned. And as your energy shifts into appreciation, your future marriage moves closer, responding to the quiet confidence of a soul that already knows it is loved.